live in a time now where people are emboldened to say, today I feel part female and part male. All right? So today, in fact, I will be neutral to you. I will be androgynous.
I think a lot of people would have an issue with what you're saying, Neil, is because they see women being denied opportunities. They see an unfair playing field, metaphorically and literally speaking.
So fix the playing field, damn it. But don't say it's an unfair playing field, so all of a sudden the big issue is trans women taking the slot of a woman in an unfair playing field. Fix the playing field. And you know something? The day you fix that playing field, this conversation will look completely ridiculous. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
It's quite embarrassing to say this entity is a scientist. How do you reconcile the stupid things coming out of his mouth with what he claims to be?
But this is not your field. You're not a doctor.
No, but I'm a scientist. Excuse me.
Yeah, that's not a doctor.
No, hold on.
That's not a doctor.
I'm a scientist who knows probability and statistics.
When I get a goiter on Uranus, I'll call you.
If you are a scientist, as you claim, then you should be more factual than most people, not emotional. It should all be about facts, not about feelings. But you can listen to this guy talking about people waking up in the morning and feeling like they want to put on makeup.
The XXXY chromosomes are insufficient because when we wake up in the morning, we exaggerate whatever feature we want to portray the gender of our choice. Suppose no matter my chromosomes, today I feel 80% female, 20% male. I'm gonna put on makeup. I'm gonna do that. Tomorrow I might feel 80% male. I'll remove the makeup and I'll wear a muscle shirt. Why do you care?
Yeah.
What business is it of yours to require that I fulfill your inability to think of gender on a spectrum?
I'm sorry, this guy's not a scientist. Maybe he's a TV evangelist or something.
All of recorded history occupies only the last 14 seconds. And every person you've ever heard of lives somewhere in there.
It's embarrassing to think somebody of his caliber will be speaking like this, will be encouraging an ideology that does not make any single sense. People that were born as men that have masculine and male advantage to be engaging in the same sport with women. And you find nothing wrong with that? This guy has lost his mind. Because, okay, let's look at it from this point of view. Science does not care about feelings. Science does not function on feelings. Science is all about facts.
It's not about feelings here. It's about objective reality.
It's as simple as that. Science is all about fact. And a quick Google search, just a little bit of Google search will tell you science cares all about fact and not feelings. Okay, so according to Google, science is primarily about facts, not feelings. It aims to understand the natural world through evidence-based observations and experimentations, relying on data and verifiable information rather than subjective emotions or personal interpretation. That's it. So, can this dude support his claim with any scientific fact? Because you can hear Bill Maher asking him that simple question and he's deflecting. This dude...
Sports we have men's sports and women's sports. And if the best team in the WNBA played the worst team in the NBA, the score would be 1,000,000-0. Can we organize society around that basic point with this, of course, proviso that we protect and respect people who do not fit into it?
Let's segregate society because dark-skinned people and light-skinned people, because that nature made it that way, and that's how it is.
I want to agree that we have come to a place where we have to all do our due diligence to research and find information for ourselves. Because these fools that we sometimes rely on to provide us with these informations, they're corrupt and they're just pushing an agenda. Okay, let's just use what science says here to kind of like break all this down. First, they say science is all about evidence. So, what have we seen lately? All of the evidence we've acquired lately has proved to just one thing, that trans women, they have undue advantage over biological women. So scientifically, when you put these two people together and you are taking away all the feelings and you're just considering the fact of the matter, then biological women stand no chance.
History has been made.
This transgender weightlifter competed in the Olympics. Transgender women, people born male but who identify as female, are winning many competitions.
Dominating the state's girls' track meets.
Some women are upset about that.
In most sports, they stand no chance against these people. That's looking at it from what science itself is saying, based on all the evidence we've all seen. Now, the part of science that says scientists has to perform experimentation. Okay, let's see. What has all the experiment we've done so far with this topic? What has it resulted to? Total chaos.
Fox taking the knees, and that's it.
Trans woman Fallon Fox won most of her fights. She broke this woman's orbital bone. Later, she said, "I've never felt the strength as I did that night."
And there are tons of examples out there. You can see all these guys that they were literally failing in their own sport. Immediately they step into the female sport. What happens? They become champions.
One is going to be Telfer.
After Cece Telfer won this race, she said,
As a trans athlete, I'm not a threat to women's sports because I am a woman.
But Telfer ranked 390th best competing as a man.
I have to admit, I am somewhat at a loss to explain it.
So the experiment is failing. These people have undue advantage. So why are we sticking to something that is failing? All the data's out there simply proves that trans women will always demolish biological women.
The idea that trans women are hugely going to outperform cis women does not hold up to the statistics.
but the statistics do say.
A male could be 40% stronger than a female on his legs.
Biologist Emma Hilton.
Things like shoulder width. Those things don't change when transgender women suppress testosterone. They don't get shorter. They've still got big lungs.
I can train 20 hours a week, but I cannot train to be a man.
You can't fix some of the performance gaps. The performance gap in weightlifting is over 30%. The performance gap when someone is throwing a baseball is over 50%. And the performance gap when a male punches is 160%.
That's just the truth. I don't know why this guy that is so-called a scientist cannot get that out and just say the truth. I mean, while on Piers Morgan asked him and point out this.
Serena Williams has been on record as saying that she would lose to the top 1,000 male tennis players. So my point being, you could be number 999 best in the world as a male tennis player and become immediately, if you decided to identify as a woman, the greatest women tennis player of all time. Is that fair? I don't think it is.
Okay, so now watch. So it turns out, and I've done this, but others have done it as well, but I did it for myself to know it. If you look at world records from world-class athletes, let's say track and field, the 100 meters, men are about 10% faster. 200 meters, 10%. It fluctuates, but on average it's about 10. The marathon, the men do it about 10% faster, okay? And you look at reflexes, it's about 10% faster. The way you have the biggest differences in weightlifting, but for speed and reflexes, it's about 10% faster.
He agreed. He said 10%. Do you know what that 10% simply means? You see that fraction of second. If you watch athletes running, you see that fraction of seconds. You see the winner can be 9.01 and the second best maybe 9 points. You see that 01 is what differentiates the winner from the second best.
America flaps its wings around 200 times per second, meaning the margin of victory was one flap of a honeybee wing. It also would have been 1/3 of a flap of a hummingbird wing, and it would have been 1/20th of a blink of an eye, which lasts around 0.1 seconds. Truly a blink and you'll miss it situation.
So if you talk about 10%, even just look at Serena Williams. Given with all the statistics out there, she cannot defeat any of the 999 best male players in tennis. And she's phenomenal. She's the best female tennis player ever. And yet, her best is not good enough to defeat 999 best male players in the world. So that 10% says a lot.
For me, tennis and men's tennis and women's tennis are completely almost two separate sports. So I'm like, if I were to play Andy Murray, I would lose 6-0, 6-0 in 5 to 6 minutes, maybe 10 minutes, because it's true. It's true. It's a completely different sport. The men are a lot faster, and they serve harder, they hit harder. It's just a different game. And I love to play women's tennis, and I only want to play girls because I don't want to be embarrassed. I wouldn't.
So this guy, as far as I'm concerned, he's not a scientist. He's just a TV evangelist.
All of recorded history occupies only the last 14 seconds. And every person you've ever heard of lives somewhere in there.
Using shows like this to just make money. That's all. He's woke, and he's putting his woke ideology into science. And that is why the editor of Science, whatever, lost her job also.
The editor-in-chief of Scientific American, Laura Helmuth, has stepped down after facing intense backlash over a profanity-laced tirade targeting Trump voters on election night. Helmuth announced her resignation on Blue Sky, writing, "I've decided to leave Scientific American after an exciting 4.5 years as editor-in-chief. I'm going to take some time to think about what comes next, and go birdwatching." The controversy erupted after Helmuth called Trump voters fascists and mocked their election night celebrations. In one post, she referred to them as the meanest, dumbest, most bigoted high school classmates. The backlash was swift, with critics accusing Helmuth of being a political activist rather than a neutral leader of a 179-year-old science magazine. She deleted the post and apologized on November 7th, admitting her comments were offensive and inappropriate. Helmuth, a cognitive neuroscience PhD, became editor-in-chief in April 2020 and previously worked for outlets like Smithsonian, Slate, and the Washington Post.
People are beginning to put emotion into science. They are beginning to put their feelings into science because this is pure science. XX chromosome, it's not the same thing as XY chromosome. It's proven. Just look at the Olympics. The Olympics was a clear signal of what it means to have an X and Y chromosome and X and X chromosome. Yes, they claim those two guys they are females, but females with X and Y chromosome. Do you remember the amount of damages they did to the biological women born with X and X chromosome? Jesus.
Yeah, 46 seconds of drama in the women's boxing there today. The Italian Angela Carini, she withdrew from the event after she was struck in the face by the Algerian boxer Iman Khalif. Now, the reason this is controversial, Charmaine, is that Khalif was disqualified from competing at the World Championships last year after she returned a test that showed elevated levels of testosterone. It has been an issue that's been bubbling away here at the Olympics, but it really came to the fore after this event. Carini said she'd never been struck so hard. She said she felt unsafe. She's worried that she could suffer a more serious injury or even something worse.
One of those ladies literally put her hands up and said, "Lord, I surrender."
But the match didn't end without controversy. Staniva made an X symbol with her fingers, purportedly referring to female chromosomes.
Oh shit. The truth is this. Neil deGrasse Tyson is a dumb idiot. I can hear him also say it's all about fact and not feelings.
It's not about feelings here. It's about objective reality.
Every time he talks, he's talking with feelings. Dumb idiot. And like Bill Maher said, we should class him as part of the problem.
I'm not for canceling anybody on either side. Yeah. So But here's what I think is the scandal. What? This is in Scientific American. Yeah. Less than a year ago. Inequity between male and female athletes is a result not of inherent biological differences between the sexes, but of biases in how they are treated in sports. That's nuts. And it sure ain't scientific, and it's in Scientific American. And that's why the Democrats lost the election. It's true.
Bill, every 20 minutes on your platform, you come up with another reason why the Democrats lost. You already have the answer. They lost the election. So anything you say is why they did it.
First of all, you don't watch this show, so you don't know that. I know you don't, and it's okay. But you talk as if you do, and you fucking don't. And that's okay. Just don't bullshit me. That's the one thing people can't ever do on this show is bullshit me. And that's fine. But I don't say that. I have very good reasons. But engage with the idea here. What I'm asking is, Scientific American is saying, basically, that the reason why an WNBA team can't beat the Lakers is because of societal bias.
What you're saying, Scientific American says that. An editor for Scientific American says that, who no longer has the job. So don't indict a 170-year-old magazine because somebody...
Okay, this is called Scientific American, and they're printing something
because someone enters the cesspool that is social media and then participates in that exchange. So
why can't you
let's talk about science.
Why can't you just say this is not scientific and Scientific American should do better?
Well, does she still have her job?
No, not because of this. I said the scandal is not her tweet.
Because that was like a year ago, was it? Which one was a year ago?
I think a year ago, women still couldn't beat men in basketball or any other sport. And it wasn't because of society. You don't see a problem here?
Long-distance swimming, women might actually have the advantage. You can look into that. Yeah.
Maybe long-distance swimming, yes. Okay.
Yeah, I've looked into it. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to file you under part of the problem.
Nobody should listen to this dude playing identity politics. You cannot say the truth and you call yourself a scientist. That is embarrassing. That shouldn't be a person we should listen to. That shouldn't be the kind of scientist we want to take advice or information or anything from, because the information is going to spill will be pure garbage. And you can see the way he answers questions. He's never straightforward. He's always dancing around. And I mean, as far as I'm concerned, this dude is not a scientist. Nah, he's an Hollywood actor. That's what it is. I'm so disappointed in him. I'm glad Bill Maher can stand his ground and put him in his place. That is amazing. That's classical. That's all I have to say. Guys, thank you for joining me today. Peace.
Chop fast.